I have boxed myself in. I'm climbing over all these boxes. Hopefully, we'll go through what's in them. I weighed myself for like the first time in a while. For the first time for a long time. Guess my weight down below. I will wait 10 seconds if you want to pause. Okay, I only did 5 seconds because I think 10 seconds was a little too long. I was a little too generous. I take it back. I'm an Indian giver of time, which that's a valuable thing to be Indian giving. My time is valuable. Ay, 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 ay. But yeah, let's get back on where I was going to go. I weighed myself. Did you comment below? What do you think I weigh? I don't know. I'll show you my hand. Do I have fat hands? Can you guess my weight based off just what my hand looks like? I weighed 195, which is pretty good. Pretty stable, honestly. I think I have fluctuated up to. I don't know if I ever hit 200, but I think I was in the 198s before, and this 195 feels pretty good. Some of my clothes are fitting a little tight, but honestly, I bumped everything up. This might be a 2X sweatshirt, which is crazy. But yeah, I love weighing myself. I guess I just like numbers so much. I do like have an attraction. I want to look at the numbers. I want to look at the data. If there's a scale there, I definitely want to know. Oh, how much do I weigh? It was funny. People at work, shorter guys, were like, I went to the doctor, and I weighed 130, and then I went back a couple months later and weighed 110, and they were really like concerned, and I was concerned that I weighed 130. They're significantly shorter. I'm a big, tall, white guy. These are short, white guys. But yeah, 130. If I was 130, I would be very. First of all, it'd be very scary, but I'd be very insecure. I think when I was like graduated high school, I was 145. I remember that because I was at UPS unloading trucks for a summer. Horrible job. UPS, just throwing boxes. I will tell you this: working at UPS taught me how to lift with my legs. Important life skill, especially if you're like reckless and you have an ego and you're like think you're stronger than you are, and you're lifting with your back. You're gonna fuck your back up. I ain't a doctor, but you will. Yeah. And the manager was making fun, but there was like this big, long, heavy box. Like it was a two-person lift, and that's basically what the managers did. The supervisors, they would help you with the super big boxes. And I remember it said like 125. I was like, and he was like, "Oh, this box probably weighs about as much as you." For some reason, I took it as a bit. I've always been insecure because for some reason I took it as a bit of a dig. Because in my mind, I feel like I was like, "Oh, I'm 145." Yeah, I don't know. Being a formidable, having a presence. That's like important to, I guess, my ego. Is, you look at big, strong men, and as a man, you're like, I don't know, that'd be cool. Wouldn't it be cool to be a big, strong man? Um, Still not super strong, in my opinion, but bigger and stronger than I was. So, hell yeah. And if I keep things up, that's also what I was thinking. It's like I need to do a 1 month, no girls, no dating apps, just go to the gym, just do my video stuff, do my comedy, do my like those relationships, and see how I feel, because I feel like that 1 month of like grinding without the validation seeking and like whatever dopamine chasing that I get from women, um I feel like that'll be really good for me in my mental state, because right now I feel like that's where my attention gets lured away. My attention gets lured in by that stuff, especially the app checking. Like I was reflecting today, like I opened an app probably 100 times today. That might be an exaggeration. That might not be an exaggeration, and that's bad. That like I'm doing a task for 15 minutes, and I'm like, oh shit, it'd be fun to check my phone right now. I don't like that. It's the inner attic. I got an outer attic and an inner attic. I get yeah. So yeah, I think those are two really good ideas, or one good idea with multiple parts. Is give up some of the dating, put that down for a month, and work on myself. This weekend, man. I was just living my life. I almost forgot I have a whole new PC to build. And with that comes a video idea. So that's like daunting. It's a whole, vision that or it's like, something that's like in the fog there that I have to kind of see if I can make a clear picture. I want to do a comparison video, and I actually dug up my old components. Kudos to Aaron 5 years ago who kept all of his boxes. Now I can like look and compare my boxes. I think you're like more inclined to keep boxes, one, for electronics, at least me, and two, for things that are expensive. I think keeping the box for electronics makes it way easier to resell. And it's just nice to have because I dug through the box that was in my closet this whole time, and there was so many other boxes with like actual useful things in there that like in the back of my mind I knew I had, but I just am so out of sight, out of mind that I don't know. Someone was like, "Oh, do you have a lav mic?" Which is what I found. I'd be like, "Yeah, I do. I remember I bought one." And actually, I have a recorder, so I think I'm going to try and just record my audio with a lav mic while I kind of build the PC. Yeah, I kind of wanted to use this episode to talk about the video and maybe do some of just the comparing and contrasting right now and see how well I can communicate it. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I got a box of stuff right next to me. And yeah, let's just get into it. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to compare or what to talk about. Guess we will talk CPUs. So my first PC, which I'm really glad I did, I just followed a tutorial from LTT, from Linus Tech Tips. Oh, what's the... Yeah, LTT, exactly. Who was just on Jimmy Kimmel, which is crazy, which good for him. Because I think PewDiePie went on Colbert, and Linus Tech Tips is like good, wholesome entertainment, interesting stuff. It's all like computer and tech stuff, and they really made a really cool business off of YouTube. So, and Linus just seems like a smart guy. But he did a video back in 2009 called like 4K editing rig, where they make a 4K edit, where they make like a computer that they're kind of an entry level build to editing in 4K. And I think I did basically everything. I might have got more RAM because I like RAM. I like RAM. I do. I feel like for some reason that's such a I guess up to a certain amount for what I do, it's noticeable if I don't have enough. But yeah, so I just followed that video pretty blindly. I made very little tweaks that I can remember. And I got this CPU. This is the Ryzen 3rd Gen, Ryzen 5 3600, 6-core, 3.6 gigahertz, 4.2 max boost, which I never do. Awesome CPU. I forget how much. I think it was maybe $170, $150 in 2019 when I bought it. I just used a stealth cooler on it. Funny thing is I put it on backwards, so now I put it on upside down. So now one of my RAM slots is covered, and I can't get RAM in there. So lots of newbie mistakes that I didn't even really realize I made until I tried to upgrade my RAM. Because when I got into a little bit of a impulse buying thing and bought RAM and a graphics card. And then I bought a graphics card and I felt like I wasn't getting any of the performance out of it because my motherboard. This is the motherboard I got at the time. I think my motherboard only has a PCI Express Gen 3, and I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, it's a PCIe. Yeah, 3, and the graphics card upgrade that I made is a Gen 4, and there's just massive bottlenecks going on with it. So I ended up impulse buying a whole computer over a month, slowly impulse buying, but now I'm here, and I'm freaking. It's a little daunting to have to change your whole workstation and move that all over, but all the pieces are here, and what am I gonna do? Just let them sit in the box because I'm lazy? No, let's build this motherfucker. Let's make some content out of it too. So yeah, this processor did me really good. This CPU. I remember when I first got it, I downloaded Cinebench, which is like a benchmarker, and I would just run Cinebench like once a day, and yeah, I was super excited. This Ryzen 3, yeah, it did well. And you know what? I will say, like, sometimes I'll open up the task manager and just look at what it's running at, and it's like constantly running at 3.9. So whatever settings my BIOS has, it's like pushing it just a little bit, which is cool. And then we got this motherboard. This motherboard was nothing super special. I will say what was really cool about it is it was just a little bit older. It was only $69, insanely cheap. Half the price of the one in my new build. Had really interesting I/O. Had old I/O. If you look above the USB, there's I think it's literally called a PS2 connector, and that was the old mouse and keyboard connector. And when I was first building this PC, this CPU was new and the motherboard was old. So I had to do what they call is flash the BIOS, which is basically download a new driver for your motherboard so that it would be able to read the new CPU. And that was like a bit of a techie thing, like for a first time builder. And it was showing up, but it wasn't working. It wasn't working with my USB keyboard and mouse. But I have in the closet there an old PS2 connector keyboard, and I plugged that thing in, and I was able to access the BIOS, access the menu of my motherboard, and I was able to flash the BIOS and upgrade it so it could run the new processor. So that was like a fun little experiment because, there was that moment of, oh shit, this USB isn't working. I just like invested a bunch of money and my shit's not working, but I like went in through a different port and I was able to get it done. I was able to get it up and running without having too much of a headache. That solution came to me quickly. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, this definitely is like a generation back, and you can tell by that. Like it has the VGA, which is a connector to the monitor. It has the DVI, which I think is another connector to the monitor. None of those are on my motherboard. None of those are on my new motherboard or my new graphics card. So yeah, that was fun. That was a fun little thing. A little more involved step for building your computer and whatever. It's funny. I keep telling myself, oh, what was great about this PC is I built it and it basically just worked smooth as a whistle. I had to upgrade the storage. I made a big mistake upgrading the storage. I bought hard drives. I bought like a couple big Iron Wolf hard drives, like a 2 terabyte and a 4 terabyte. And I ended up filling up the 2 terabyte, and I'm working on the 4 terabyte now. But SSDs, I should have just got SSDs. No, that was a lame mistake of me, because I can just tell because the games that I play off of the hard drive, because I don't have enough room in the storage that I did get, which was a little Seabrint M.2 storage, which is an SSD, I'm pretty sure, but it's like even smaller, and it goes directly on the motherboard. It looks like kind of like a little piece of gum almost, or just like a little rectangle. And I just went off the recommendation of the video that I talked about before, the 4K editing PC build, and it was only 500 gigs, which is not enough. I should have got a 1 terabyte, because I basically have my operating system and Adobe and one game, Fortnite, on my M.2 drive, which of course, because I gotta be playing Fortnite fast. I need that competitive edge. So yeah, and I was looking at this, like, of course, I just like, the beauty of it is what was I built this PC. I was into PC stuff until I got it up and running, and I can kind of go off on my merry way. Like, I didn't really feel so inclined to watch a ton of PC building videos after I built my first one. And a couple generations passed by. I didn't really know how much of a jump I was taking, but I think after looking at my old stuff, looking at my new stuff, I'm making a big jump. Yeah, we can talk about the graphics card. I just got the graphics card that they recommended, like, for my first build, which it doesn't even say what it is on it. If you know what it is just by looking at it, it doesn't even say the number right here. But it is a GeForce GTX 1660. I think this was the most expensive bit of my original PC build. I think it was $250 at the time. And I thought it was the shit. But now looking back on it, Fortnite would always crash. Adobe would always crash. I mean, it always bounced right back, and I was able to get some work done. But then I went and I upgraded to the GPU I have now, and I have that in my old machine. So I've been getting to use it for the past couple of months, and I'm just able to do what I want to do. Of course, Fortnite's not running as fast because there's all these bottlenecks between the motherboard and the PC and the CPU. But yeah. If I realized that basically a $300 investment was something that I should have done a year or two ago, and that I probably wouldn't even be in this situation with a whole new box of PC, maybe I'd upgrade one or two other components, because I probably would, because that upgrade has changed the quality of life for me and this machine so much. So yeah, I just watched that, building a 4K editing PC, because I've had a passion for video editing for the past 5 to 7 years. So that was like just a good way to get into it. Just buy what this professional guy who talks about tech buys, and just do it. And I think that build ended up being $800 for the tower. And then by the time I got 2 monitors, got a keyboard and mouse, and my keyboard and mouse was super cheap, and got Windows, I think it ended up being about $1,200 to get into the PC space. And then $1,200 is about what I paid for my upgrade. So 5 years ago, I spent $1,200, got a whole battle station. And then now I'm paying $1,200 and just getting an upgraded tower. But I think I only have one regret for my upgrade, and that is the CPU. I'll talk about it right here. I got the Ryzen 5. Ryzen 5 7600. Super cool, was $200 around Christmas time. 3.8 gigahertz base, 5.1 max boost, 6 cores, 12 threads. So that was $200, and the 7600X was $200. And the only difference is not the only differences, but some of the differences between the 7600 and the 7600X is one, power, which translates into heat. So the X runs twice as hot, and it doesn't come with a cooler. You have to buy a cooler, which would probably only be $40 for like a decent cooler. So it'd probably be $240 for 5% more of a boost, or $200. I can use the built-in cooler, which worked great for my 3600, and half the power usage too. So I kind of just went with kind of the path of least resistance. Like I just got the one that had the built-in cooler, which I'm not beating myself up that much for it. But now that I think about it, it's like I was trying to rationalize it. I was trying to be like, well, it's a 5% boost, and you pay about 5% more to get a cooler. So it's a fair trade, but really I should think about it. It's a 5% better PC, so it's like for $40 as opposed to a 5% better for like $300. Right, because if like I don't know, I can get a 5% boost for $40, and like I should really look at it like that price increase based off the price of the entire computer, not based off the price of just the CPU. So really you're getting a 5% boost of your entire computer, which cost $1,200 for $40. And I hope that made a little bit of sense. So really it's awesome. Really, that's great. You get 5% better for a barely I don't know, for like a fraction of what your computer costs. Like a really So I think I messed up on that. I think I should have went with the power and everything. But other than that, I was having like second thoughts about my upgrade graphics card with it, which is the 4060 Ti 16 gig. I was having a lot of second thoughts on that because there were so many videos shitting on the 4060 8 gig, and I think the 4060 Ti 16 gig. I think they corrected a lot of the criticisms, which is basically the VRAM for the original 4600. And it seems like if I wanted to go NVIDIA, the next step up would be like $150 or $200 more. So at first I thought I really fucked up because I was seeing all these videos saying that the graphics card that I bought was the worst graphics card ever. Please don't buy this, was basically what all the titles of the videos were. But then it wasn't really the same graphics card. You know how I said like last time I went off a video, this time I've kind of built it around my graphics card. I've kind of built the rest of the machine around the graphics card, and I used PC part picker to oh my god, PC part picker to pick the other parts. And I feel a little bit more in tune instead of just going off a video off 100% recommendation. I feel a little bit more in tune with this build because I did more comparing and contrasting besides just going with like an expert and just doing the build myself. So yeah. So yeah, now I have the 7600 Ryzen 5. I'm super pumped for that. I was watching a ton of videos like comparing, and it seems like It's maybe about 25% better than the one that I have now. Maybe as much as 33%. I just watched a couple quick comparison videos between those two processors. So I'm excited for that. I don't think there's going to be a horrible bottleneck, but I would have bought a cooler and bought the 7600X just to have that extra $40 for 5%. And maybe in the scheme of just the CPU, it's like a 1-to-1 trade, but in the scheme of the whole computer, that value for $40 is probably worth it. Um, yeah, I went with a lot more storage for this one. I think I started off with 32 gigs of RAM uh, in my first PC build, just DDR4. And then I threw another stick in there when I was going on a spending spree. And then, but for the new one, I went 64 DDR5, 6,000 mega transfers, blah, 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 which I'm super pumped for. Um, that extra RAM, amazing for video editing, especially if you're doing like animations and stuff and like want like a lot of moving bits and doing 3D stuff, which I'm not doing a ton of 3D stuff, but I am doing a ton of animation stuff. So I got 64 gigs of DDR5. I went super gamer. This PC is like gamer with a workstation twist. Of course, this will all be in the video, but I got a tower that has RGB fans in it, and then I got RAM that has RGB on it. So there'll be like at least two things with RGB inside my tower, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to feel like a gamer because the one that the first PC I built, it was slick, it was cool. I was like super happy with it. Felt really proud for building it. But there was some cliches that weren't quite met, and I'm like I don't know. I feel like it's a rite of passage a little bit to like be into the RBG RGB. Thank you. So I'm excited to have that gamer build. I do have lights on my OG machine, and it's just white. They're just white fans. Looks cool. Looks great. Not all of them light up. And when I was kind of cleaning off and like switching out the graphics card and watching some more videos, I don't think I have my ventilation very good inside my PC. I don't think I have my fans facing the right direction, so it's funny because one, it was like working perfectly. Like I said, like I feel like the machine that I built in 2019 is a solid machine, and I'm really impressed with the lack of problems I've had with it. But now going back and looking at it, it's like you put on your uh, cooler backwards. You didn't put in your fans correctly. Like there's definitely some newbie mistakes that I didn't even know. I didn't even know I had for the longest time. Longest time I was like, yeah, this PC's sick. So I upgraded the power supply. I went from 650 watts to 750 watts. Upgraded the RAM. Got a big 2 terabyte M.2 besides the chintzy 500 gig one that I have in my OG machine. The only thing I'm stressed out about is I'm thinking about keeping that 500 gigabyte drive as my boot drive. 'Cause it's like I don't want to buy Windows, and I don't want to have to re-download everything that I use all the time. So I'm hoping it works pretty smoothly. That I take the drive off, and then like my Adobe and my Windows are just easily transferred into this new machine through the drive. I watched a couple of videos, and it seems relatively easy. You just basically verify that it's your Windows when you put it into the new machine, and it seems to transfer over pretty well. So I'm having a bit of hesitation of just thinking about the legwork of getting it correct. Like, and I have so many files on these on these big disk drives that I'm using for projects that I'm working on. So just the really like transferring over of this thing, of this workstation, this PC that I use that is so established. Like, there's so much programs and stuff, and this is like a very settled machine. When I got this new graphics card, I was going crazy. I was like, why aren't I getting the frames? And I was just going like tweaking with all these different settings. And I was like, oh, I need to upgrade all my drivers. And I realized I haven't updated a driver on my motherboard or my CPU for 5 years. So now, like, do I have to go? Sometimes they'll make you upgrade in order, so you can't just upgrade the newest one to the newest one. You'd have to go through the 5 years of driver upgrades, and then like to get like fully up to date. And that's like, am I flashing the BIOS again? Like, it just ended up being like, I'm having a good experience with with this build right now. Yeah, my GPU isn't performing at the rate I want it to, but I'm having a good time and it's not crashing. So let's just not obsess over this for a week and avoid doing anything else. Because that's what was kind of happening. Was I was like willing to spend hours tweaking with settings to get more frames in Fortnite. It was such a waste of fucking time. So luckily that only lasted a couple days or like a weekend. Okay. Obviously I got a lot to say about the computer build. I think some of this is going to end up in the video when I compare the two. That's also a big thing that I have to do. I have to basically put back in my old GPU, just basically work with it, basically record the frames for a couple games, for basically just for Fortnite. And just I could just talk about the difference experience. Maybe I'll try and edit a video on the old GPU and just take notes on how differently the task feels with going back to the original hardware that I used for the first 4 years. And then I get to kind of turn over the new machine, the new generation. AI. This is like weird AI generation. When I built this, AI wasn't a big selling point for any of the hardware. Now it's a pretty big selling point. I don't know how much. I think there is. I was reading the back of the box for the 4060. I think the 40 series does have AI. I know AI is huge for the 5000 series, but yeah, new gen. It feels like a step. It's not a leap, but it does feel like maybe a hop and a skip up this new build. And I hope it feels that way, like while playing games and using it. But yeah, okay, I'm getting a little ranty here. Thank you so much for listening to me chit chat about my new build and mostly my old build. I felt like I talked about, but this has been cool. This has been a fun episode. Thanks for watching. I didn't even do the intro. I'll do the intro and the outro at the same time. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Cast Me Outside with Aaron Scholl. I'm your host, Aaron Scholl. Today's date is January 17th, 2015. 2025. Guys, you're the cheeseburger. And that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun, but we're done. Gotta run. Thank you this time for your time. And until next time, keep on living and loving. Peace.